Good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Friday, November 14th, 2014, and this is Live Talk. I am Kip Stube.
And I'm Jonga Kandemiri, standing in for Blessing Zulu.
Tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about worsening factionalism in ZANU-PF.
To join our discussion, phone us directly at 001-202-2077 and we'll call you back.
Live Talk goes out to Zimbabwe on our 909 meter wave frequency and on the 4930, 5940 and 15455 kilohertz shortwave Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m.
On the internet, you can find us at www.voazimbabwe.com, at www.voashona.com, and at www.voaindebele.com.
I am shocked, surprised, and heartbroken simply because I do not have the charges against me. I don't know what offense I committed. I'm still waiting to be informed of the offenses. But what I want to say is, if that is the Politburo decision, I will respect it. I respect my Politburo. I cannot argue with it if the charges are factual, if there is evidence.
Into yokuqala leyinto eyenzakale enkundleni ye-Politburo behlezi phansi bawuhluzisa bawukhangelisisa babona kuyinto efanele beyenze. Mina ngibona ngathi ukuthi mina lawo noma umuntu ekasi ukuthi besesiphisa la besesukudingisisa ukudinga into engekho ngoba that is a very competent body elabantu abanobungcushu obukhulu.
Pane zvinhu zviviri zvokutarisa. Chokutanga ndechekuti nyangu zvazvine vatungamiri kana vona sachigaro vose vari kubviswa vakabva, hakusisina here vamwe vanosaririra vanenge vachitsikira maimjuru vanenge vari pasi vanozokwanisa kuvhota zvichienderana nokuti vhoti dzake dzinoendwa nazo sei, dzinoitwa zviya zvokushandisa ballot box kana kuti zvinoitwa zviri pachena zviya. Kozoti chimwe chechipiri kuti ndechekuti ndiani ari kuita sarudzo idzi, dziri kutungamirirwa nani, anodzitarisa ndiani.
Thanks for joining us once again. You are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk. This evening, we are talking about a move by the ZANU-PF Politburo to suspend some senior officials.
The Politburo on Thursday suspended party spokesman Rugare Gumbo and Central Committee member Paul Rusungazi, and at the same time expelled War Veterans leader Jabulani Sibanda ahead of the crucial elective Congress in December.
The Politburo also upheld the ouster of several provincial chairpersons said to be linked to a faction led by Vice President Joyce Mjuru. Mrs. Mjuru and Justice Minister Emerson Mnangagwa are said to be leading two factions fighting for the control of the party ahead of the Congress. They have over the years denied that they are leading any factions.
What do you think about this issue? If you wish to join the show, phone us directly at 001-202-619-2077 and we'll call you back. The number once again, 001-202-619-2077.
Yabambe zulu kandaba lingalithola njani khona ngapho lapha ekhona ngemakhaya thina ngapha lo Jonga siphile sibula kwamagama Mthembu uphile mfowethu.
Ngiyaphila Mthembu.
Ya Mthembu Stembayo.
Mthembu Stembayo.
Ya uchayile kuhle. Yeah, so ke esixoxa ngakho zulu kandaba lamhlanje sikhuluma ngakhona okwenzakale ku ZANU-PF izolo. Sizwile ke kuthiwa ke umnumzana uGumbo kuthiwe ame mbijana emsebenzini oba isikhulumeli sebandla. Kuthiwa ame iminyaka izibe ngu5 abasephenduka njalo. Sezwa njalo kuthiwa ke okhangele ama veterans umnumzana uJabulani Sibanda kwathiwa seqotshiwe kubandla leZANU-PF. Laba ke ababili bacatshangela ukuthi bangemuva kwalokhu okuthiwa ifactionalism, ukulwisana okukhona ingxaba ngqoza ekhona lapha ku ZANU-PF. So nxa sikhangele ke ukhayazani babona ngazani enxa yibo abenza ukuthi kube lenkemekeme leyi. So kuzobuya ke nxa sikhangela Jonga okusobala ukuthi kukhona khona ukulwisana okukhona. Kulo mnumzana Emerson Mnangagwa okhangele ezomthetho bese kusuba khona lo vice president enguye phela unkosikazi uJoyce Mjuru. So khonapho ke ukhayazani bakhangela ukuthi njoba umnumzana umongameli umgabe sengani sekhulile phela sengathi enxe bangafuna ukuthatha isikhundla seleso kumbe kubanga selesika vice kumele sibe khona ubona njani mfowethu
asi ipapo Gibbs azvirevi kuti kukura kwemunhu
akura
pachivanhu zvotonzi anenge ane njere dzakawanda
uyavsebondiwe
iye
kunjalo mfowethu
ongovateereri nhasi tiri kutarisa danho rakatorwa nepolitbureau yeZANU-PF nezuro tinonzwa kuti musangano wakapinda maawa angaenda kumapfumbamwe kana kuda kusvika 9 to 10 hours pachikakavadzwana nekutaudzana asi chisungo chakazobuda ndechekuti mutauriri weZANU-PF vaRugare Gumbo pamwe navaPaul Rusingazi vambomiswa basa kwemakore 5 asi vanga vari mutungamiri wevakarwa hondo vaJabulani Sibanda zvikanzi vabva vangodzingwa mumusangano. Chatisingazive Gibbs ndechekuti vane mukana here wekuzopikisa mutongo wakapiwa nepolitbureau yatingati appeal. Hatina kunzwa kuti vanokwanisa here kunge vachizozviita, uye kana vachikwanisa kuzowana mukana iwoyo vanokwanisa here kunge vachizodzoka mubato vachiita zvavanga vachiita pasati patorwa matanho iwaya. Asi tinonzwa kuti sachigaro weZANU-PF Simon Kayamoyo ndo vambotora chigaro chikuve mutauriri webato pane nguva ndo vanenge vachitaura vakamirira ZANU-PF. Izvi zviri kubva munyaya dzatinongonzwa dzemakakatanwa, asi vanonzi vanotungamira zvipoka vari kuramba amai Mujuru navamunangagwa vanoti hakuna zvakadaro.
Siyakuzwa kakhulu ke mnumzana Jonga kunjalo sibili mfowethu bayala sibili baphika bethi hayi thina sikho khona phakathi kodwa uyakhumbula ukuthi nje kule committee eyafonywayo kumbe ngathi yabunjwayo ukuthi khangele khona okuthiwa yikulwisana okukhona singazi ukuthi sebeyibumbile yini kumbe njengoba sokuxotsha abanye sokuphelile asikwazi. Okwamanje ke ngibona ngazani sesilabo esibanxusileyo ukuthi babuye ke kuhlelo lamhlanje ukwenza ukuthi sixoxe. Our first guest Jonga is Mr. Joseph Chuma, who is a ZANU-PF Central Committee member. Mr. Chuma, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, how are you?
Very fine. How is Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe is very fine. The first correction, I am not a Central Committee member. I'm a provincial member of ZANU-PF.
Oh, thank you very much, provincial member of ZANU-PF. Sorry for that kind of mistake, but thank you so much for joining us. We also have Mr. Maxim Kandla, who is a war veteran. Mr. Mkandla, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you very much. So we'll start with you, Mr. Chuma. Tell us what is going on in the party. Mr. Kumbo has been suspended, and then we've got war veterans leader, Mr. Jabulani Sibanda, has been expelled, and many other issues. Tell us, what's going on?
There's nothing really going on. I mean, everything is normal. This is a revolutionary party. It's a mass party. You must expect a mass movement. We are within our jurisdiction of the party. We are within our constitution of the party. We are allowed to do what we are doing, and we are exercising our rights as a party. And we are going to our Congress, which starts on the 2nd of December, in a very, very rejuvenated mood, looking forward to making a progress and looking at our progress in terms of, Zima said, the economy of the country and any other business that really affects our party.
Stay on the line. Thank you very much, Jonga.
Tomboenda kuna vamukandla kuti imi muri mumwe wevakarwa hondo yerusununguko. Tinoona kuti nyaya iripo iyi iri kubatawo mativi ose kubato reZANU-PF ichibatawo kune vakarwa hondo yerusununguko. Munoonawo sei danho rakatorwa nezuro iri?
Idanho rakanaka rinopa kudzidzisa kuti vanhu vagoziva mune ramangwana utungamiriri unoda kuti huitwe munyika. Zvabva zvadzidzisa zvakare zvokuti zviri kuitwa nepati yeZANU-PF izikurusa ivava vacho vaenda kunodzinga vanhu pasina macharges, pasina mahearings. Zvadzidzisa kuti mune ramangwana hatina utungamiriri hwakanaka nokuti zvatiri kuratidza vanhu vadiki yezvino vachazove maleaders emangwana vachangoitevedzera izvozvi. Munhu angodzingwi kuita sokuti kana ukubasa chaiye unotomupa notice, kana akanganisa unotogara naye pasi. Ava vanongodzingwa ava vachisuspendwa. Zvikuru sei Jabulani anove ndiye anga ari munhu akaiswa musanction. One munhu asiri minister asiri chii, asi ndiye one munhu akambozongokandwa kumasanctions akazosunungurwa. Saka izvi zvinenge zvichirevei ndo zvacho zvatinoda kuti tinzwe. Izvi zvakutaurwa navachuma izvi kuti i-revolution tinongoita madiro muchirwadzisa vanhu. Vanhu ivavo vane masupporters. Come 2018 haisi kure. Izvozvi zvitinototaurira kuti tatove mu-2015. Saka 18 wacho haasi kure ari padhuze apa. Vanenge vakutoregreta kuda vanhu ivava zvakare. Yeti vanhu vavo vari kutoda kuvashandisa semakondomu avo. Hazvidaro pamusangano wepolitics. This is not a burial society.
Thank you, Mr. Mkandla. Stay on the line. Gibbs, Mr. Mkandla just said what's happening in the Politburo, what the position that was taken by the Politburo is a good way or a good lesson to people that you can be disciplined in a different way, and you can be also used to forward some interest, and at the same time you get discarded. And I think he also mentioned that Jabulan Swanda, Mr. Jabulan Swanda, was the only individual who was not a minister, who was not a member of parliament, who was on sanctions list because of what he was doing for the party. And this time he was fired from the party without even getting an opportunity to be heard. That's what he is saying. And he says 2018 is not far. Elections are coming very soon. I think ZANU-PF should make sure that it's making correct decisions, because these people have their own followers who might think otherwise come 2018.
Let's get another guest. I think we have on the line Mr. Tumisani Nkomo, who is a political analyst with Abakuk Trust. He's based in Bulawayo. Mr. Nkomo, good evening and welcome to the program. Can you hear us, Mr. Nkomo? Baba Nkomo yasizwa yini lapho khona?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. Sikubuze ngesintu sibili. Akusitshela ukuthi konke okwenzakala ebandleni leZANU-PF. Kambe ungathi kuyini? Kuyini okuthatha indawo khonapho?
Yeah, ngitshengisa ukuthi kule disorder kule ngqabangqoza kulokulwisana ukulwela izikhundla okungagcina sokubhidliza iZANU-PF. Abanye bengagcina sebehlamuka sebesuka kuZANU-PF ngenxa yokhona lokho ungazwisisani lokubangisana izikhundla. So into sibili serious kakhulu engagcina isenze iphathi yona leyi ya splitter.
Aha, ngicela ukufaka ngesikhiwo kwezethi bezwe futhi ababili esilabo lapha ukuthi cha futhi mshana.
Yeah, this factionalism has reached boiling point within ZANU-PF. The expulsion of Jabulani Swanda and the suspension of Gumbo is something quite serious. It could actually even lead to the eventual split of ZANU-PF. It's something which is very severe. Of course, some say that ZANU-PF has gone through it before. But now if you look at the age of Mugabe now, he's quite old, and this thing may boil over and lead to a severe split within ZANU-PF if they don't manage it in the next 3 or so weeks.
Mr. Chuma, do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with all these speakers. I heard Mr. Mkandla talking about a lot of issues, but I think he mixed issues here. Let me try to demystify this thing for Mr. Mkandla, for Mr. Nkomo, and for anybody else who's listening to this program. First of all, you must understand that what happened is that this thing started off from provincial levels, where this particular chairman had a vote of no confidence passed on them by their own executives, where they come from. It's not a suspension or probably an expulsion by the party or the Politburo. It's a vote of no confidence. So what it means is that the Politburo simply upheld that vote of no confidence. So there's nobody who has probably not been given a fair chance to do anything here. All we are simply saying is that if a vote of no confidence is passed on you, that simply translates to say that people have no longer any confidence with you being in that position, the particular position that you are in, and therefore you step aside. As simple as all that. It's different from being suspended. It's different from being expelled. So for those members that had a vote of no confidence passed on them by their respective executives, you must understand that it's a due process. It's a very legal process. It's very much allowed. So we must distinguish these things when we talk about some of these things, especially in public media like this.
But
there is nothing wrong that was done. Things were done, Julie, and the Politburo simply upheld what was probably deliberated and agreed upon by the particular provinces from where these chairmen come from. And then, like I said earlier on to somebody, Jabulani's case is very peculiar. The Politburo said, unfortunately, you and me and everybody else here did not sit in that same Politburo, and we have not heard the reasons why they expelled him. And until we do so, I think it will be a bit premature for us to probably try and deliberate on that, because I am sure those people are experienced people. They've been in this game for a long time. They could not have just come up from, with that kind of decision, from the blues. They looked at things, they weighed things. Let's wait for them to tell us exactly why they probably came to that decision. And it's their prerogative anyway. But for us to discuss it now and try and condemn it or bless it, I think it's getting a bit misinformed from our part.
Mr. Chuma, may you please stay on the line? We just want to take in our first caller. Mkoma Kenyas from Botswana. Magadi Mkoma.
Blessing.
Nasi mairasa Mkoma na amaona tsoka dzake ndijonga kandemiri butsu ndedza blessing asi tsoka ndedza jonga.
Okay, Mukoma jonga ziri sei.
Aiwa ndiri mupenyu Mukoma maita basa nekupinda pachirongwa. Nyaya iri mudariro ndiyo yekuti pane vamwe vakuru nenhengo dzeZANU-PF vakasuspendwa nezuro. Koitawo vanga vari mutungamiri wechikwata chevakarwa hondo cheZimbabwe National War Veterans Association vaJabulani Sibanda vakadzingwa mubato. Imiwo semuteereri muri chizvarwa cheZimbabwe munotiwo?
Right, maita basa Mukoma jonga kundipa mukana uyu. Chekutanga ndinofara nekuti a dog is now eating a dog. Zvinhu zviripo pamusoro pevanhu veZANU-PF zvinotofadza. Akazvitanga akazvigona stereki nokuti papasina umwe aizokwanisa kuti anga achibudisa chokwadi chakafanana nechakubuda iye zvinezvi. Isusu sema citizens of Zimbabwe tatisingazivi kuti Jabulani Sibanda is not known anywhere. Takaona pa TV vaChris Mutsvangwa vachitaura kuti uyu munhu uyu hatimuzivi, we don't know this boy. Saka tochishupika manje kuti ko zviri kumbofamba sei kana uyu onzi haazikanwi iye akambonga achinzi murwi wohondo. Tobva ipapo touya pakuti totaura navarugare gumbo vanzi vakasuspendiwa. Varugare gumbo taivanzwa vachiparticipata zvizhinji kwazvo muZANU-PF ari munhu wanga achinzi munhu anovatungamirira nekuvataurira zvinhu zvizhinji. Vote of no confidence yava kuitwa pavari hatichainzwisisi kuti zvinorevei. Saka indiri kuti zviri kuitika muZANU-PF zviri right, ngazvirambe zvichikondinya kusvikira pakuti deno mapurisa eZimbabwe anga achinatsokuziva vaitwa expelled vainvestigatwe panyaya dzose dzavakakonzera muZimbabwe, violence, kutambudzisa vana veZimbabwe kusvikira tive kwetiri kunoko vachisekera bato reZANU-PF vachinzi vanhu vari right, asi nhasi unovava kunzi havasi vanhu havana confidence mavari. Kusvikira panai mujuru vacho vetiri kunzwa kuti nai mujuru vari kunzi ichichi nhasi vari kutaura nezvokuti ivo madoctors anofanira kupuhwa mari, mawar veterans anofanira kuti apuhwe upenyu hwakanaka. Vanga vasingambozvione here all along vachigara nemuwar veteran achipuhwa $100 munhu akarwira nyika kuti isvike peiri? Vasingamboone here kuti madoctors haasi kupuhwa mari inoita kusvikira nhasi vazotaura madoctors ava kuti astrika. Saka zvinongoratidza kuti these people vanga vachiita corruption yavanga vachiita ngavarambe vachiinvestigatwa vachibudiswa mupati kusvikira vanhu vabatwa zvakanaka vanga vachiita zvinhu zvisizvo. Zvinotori right zviri kuitika kuZANU-PF.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru nepfungwa dzenyu dzamapa, asi tine tichitarisira kuti kana zvinhu zvakava zvichiitika zvinge zvichiunzawo kugarisana kwakanaka kwevanhu, kwete kuti vanhu vanenge vachingonza akanganisa ngabva aiswa pakati kana kuiswa pademo. Ndinoimba kuti zvinenge zvichiitika zvinenge zvichiunza kugarisana.
Ava vari right kuti vaisa nedemo Mukoma, nokuti ndokune zvinoita kuti nyika igadzirisike. Kana pasina kuita tension muZANU-PF hapana chinogadzirika muZimbabwe, nokuti zvinezvi ZANU-PF yazvikiriyedira an opposition party, strong opposition party inokwanisa kuvarwisanisa kuti tiwane mutungamiriri wenyika ari right.
aiwa, thank you so much. Mukoma Kenyas, rambai muchiteerera muchitsigira studio 7 muri kuBotswana. Thank you, Gibbs.
Ndiye studio 7 baba.
Thank you so much.
Uyakhuluma lapha ke umnumzana Kenyas, siyamuzwa kakhulu. Sibuye kuwe baba Mkandla, lokhu kona icebo baba.
Yebo.
Nxa usukhangele ke baba Mkandla, kanye ngazani ke umama ke umjulu kumbe ngithi unkosikazi mjulu, ungazani usethola amagabha avuzayo. Ubone ngani uzavuka futhi yini alwisane labo laba angani bajonge khona?
Umama lwana namhlanje bangakhupha into yakhe yonke esensitha kade yenza. Akubambi manzi lokho. Umama lwana ngaphuma laphana vele sephuzile ukuphuma ngoba wayenesela abantu bakhe bonke laba lokho behlukuluzwa uthiwa kona kabantshontshanga lutho abachanga umuntu kodwa basekela umjuru ngabe function. As a result yena umjuru loyo ngaphume laphana eme laphana eceleni yethu udingani khona laphana wayureka konde sele laphana usaleleni kuhamba njani lapha kuyini okukhangelwayo lapha ukuthi lo lecala elingakanani ngaphumela emegcekeni laphana bonke oreka konde laphana umjuru ngaphuma laphana kuyaphela konke lokhu ukuvalelisa kweZANU-PF ngoba lanxa bengathi baya kuma-election belwisana labantu kumbe kwathi eva baza kusebenzisa itrick zangikhona bonke abantu laba bayazana. As a result kuyabe sokuklika kathesi ukuthi khona ngubani ozawina ama-election ngokuqondileyo. Uchilo lapho ubaba uChuma wathi hayi lokhu kwenziwe ngama-province. Ama-province lawa le-influence kabani? Ama-province lawa athatha ngaphi right okwethatha i-decision enjengayona le against ama-chairpersons. U-chairperson kwi-executive ebe nguye yedwa yena kuphela. Why i-executive ayichair yona le isala ikhona? Kuyaqotshwa kuthiwa khona ngu-chairman kuphela. Umchairman kasomhlangano. Umhlangano ngabantu bona labana kuthiwa yi-executive. Uright sibili uChuma ngoba umbono wakhe lawo yikho kubonayo. Kodwa ke thina esikhangela ubukhokheli we persecuted into kuthiwa yi-liberation movement leyo ku-armed struggle. Akula ma-channel anjalo kuthiwa khona siyi-liberation ombe siyi-revolutionary party suvuka senza into yakho kumntwana womunye umuntu umzali womunye umuntu just like that ukhupha abantu abangaka ephathini khona lapho. Omalukazana labokhazeni bakhe lezi hlobo zabo labangane lama-church yiwo bakhuphayo. Kusasa siyabhonkola abantu ukuthi besupport iphathi yona le. Kuphele lokho sikubona kusenzakala sikukhangele ngelihle libanzi kodwa kukhona okuzakwenzakala sokuya kuma-election labe seligijima lidinga ukuthi bona labo bantu kambona ukuthi lizathola omunye umuntu ongikhomisayo abekhampena njengojabulani ophongukuxotshwa nje maklayana ambona ukuthi kule nto enjengayona leyo umjuri kaphume laphana emegcekeni lapha uzabona abantu abazamlandela laphana kuyasala laphana kulubhalu kungela lutho lanxa bengasebenzisa yiphi material kumbe resource ukuthi bewina ama-election that won't come.
Yes,
2018 useduzane kakhulu.
Sikuzwile kakhulu Mr. Mkandla. What Mr. Mkandla is saying is that Mrs. Mjuru and maybe Mr. Reika Okonde should actually leave the party and form their own thing. And if they do that, that's the end of ZANU-PF. And he says, there's absolutely no reason why Jabulani Sibanda was expelled. Because he's one of the best people in terms of campaigning, according to him. So now let's briefly go to Mr. Nkomo and Mr. Chuma. First, with you, Mr. Nkomo, what could be your reaction to what Mr. Mkandla is saying? Briefly, 1 minute.
Yeah, it's actually true. It's quite clear that if Mjuru leaves ZANU-PF will be much weaker because she does command their respect. The fact that she did control quite a number of provinces and she's popular with the grassroots in terms of her party. If she moves away from ZANU-PF, clearly that party will be very weak and it would be very difficult for them to win an election because she her faction and the people that she would live with are quite conversant of the election strategies which ZANU-PF use. Even Jabulani Sibanda, for example, spearheaded the 2008 the runoff campaign. So clearly they will be weaker if the party splits. Even somebody who is blind can see that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkomo, and stay on the line. Mr. Chuma, your quick reaction to what Mr. Mkandla is saying.
Well, thank you very much. The first thing that I need to point out here is that the Revolutionary Party, ZANU-PF, is a very strange thing. It's just like a road. A road leading from Harare to Bulawayo will not change. If anybody decides to divert and to a bit turn off and branch off to Chinoi or branch off to the Shavani, it doesn't mean that that road is not going to go to Bulawayo. So whether anybody decides to come out of the party or do whatever they want to do, the party is still going to remain strong and going forward. Because let me tell you something. Nobody came into the party to say, I'm joining Manjuru, I'm joining Gabe, I'm joining Ugare Gumbo, I'm joining Reika Okonde. We all said we are joining the Revolutionary Party, ZANU-PF. We're not joining anybody. So if anybody wants to come out and do whatever, it's their own doing. But the party will remain going forward and going stronger, actually. And for these people to be now saying that Manjuru must come out, I think it's a bit out of order. Look, she is a person, she's a human being. She's got her own senses. She's got her own thoughts. Leave her alone. She will say whatever she wants to say at the correct time when she wants to say it. Let's not say things for people. Let's talk about ourselves, not people. Let Manjuru be. Let whoever else be. And let's talk about this. I think people are losing the argument here. The argument is about saying what has happened, what's happening with this decision. And I'm simply saying that the party did a decision through the grassroots. And by the way, for your information, provincial executives are allowed to pass a vote of no confidence in their chairman or any other member. Because when you are a chairman or any other member, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are now bigger than the party or anything. You can actually you can go off track, and when you do, people are allowed to say, no, the way you are now taking is wrong. Come back this way, or no, stand aside. Let this big train move on. So what I'm simply trying to say now is that the party is not going to be affected, believe me. We are moving forward, and we are going to take on board anyone who wants to be with us. Whoever doesn't want to be with us, tough luck. You can go and form your own party, you can go and do anything, but we are going to move on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuma. Lapha ke sesilo mnumzana uSixoliso Sibande ecingweni lapha jonga. Sike sizwe ubaba Sibande ukhona ecingweni?
Ngikhona linjani ba?
Sitshonile utshona njani khona ngapho ke mnumzana Sibanda mdaweni omuhle?
Ngiyatshona ngapho kunjani ba?
Hayi no, ungazani sokulo mqando mbijani kodwa hayi kulungile.
Hayi. Akuyafana la ngapha si.
Phosela ko baba.
Mina ngithanda ukuvumelana lo baba uMkandla. Ubaba uChuma ufana lehlamvu lesihlahla elicelebrate ukuqhumeka kwempande esesemhlahla swaleso ngawukwazi ukuthi wena uzatsha uzakutsha ngubani kakwazi. Ungakhangela abantu abasuspendiwe lapho. Nabantu ababili ade bele power party, abantu abakhankasela iparty yazi yawina. Nxa sikhangela yena ubaba uChuma usitshela ukuthi ngama province axotsha abantu. Nambona umuntu weprovince uyadinga ukuyathatha kwezinye indawo ngamabhasi bebuye bezovala ama-office abantu ukuthi umuntu sesuspendiwe. Mina ngibona kunjalo. Siyakwanisa ukucelebrate sibili ukuthi uxotshiwe but asikwazi ukuthi ibandla kusasa liya ngaphi. Ngoba nxa sikhangela kade uJabulani Sibanda wachaya i-1 million march man. Le 1 million man march lana ayichayayo yaphumelela. Waba lo muntu olesisindo epartini, waba ngumuntu olesisindo kuma veterans. Asazi ukuthi uzakhokhela ngubani. Kade sabantu bepho ngikhangela uthino Dimbavela simazi ukuthi ngini. But ukukhuluma ngobaba uMkandla mina ngiyakuthi angathi uyangizwa ubaba uMkandla ezisindebele yini.
Hayi kakhulu ye.
Uyezwa phela.
Ye kakhulu.
Baba Mkandla ipoint yakho i-right uthi ngikhuluma ngolaka, khuluma kuhle ipoint yakho izwakala ebantwini straight and clear.
Hayi siyabonga.
Ya. Sibongile kakhulu baba.
Esibanda sibongile kakhulu mdaweni ungadinela kusasa
Kulungile baba.
So ke sizathi sime khonapha kancane Mr. Chuma, Mr. Nkomo and Mr. Mkandla, can you please stay on the line? We want to say goodbye to our radio listeners. We just say want to say welcome to our internet users.
That's
and
true.
They can visit us on www.voazimbabwe.com. Those that have been watching, keep on watching. This is Gibbs Dube in Washington, D.C. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us. Tonight on Studio Less 7 Live Talk, we are talking about ZANU-PF factionalism. What is very clear, Mr. Chonga, is that two top officials, in fact 3 of them, appear to be on the wrong side of the party's kind of Politburo. So what they're saying is, what the Politburo is saying is that, they could have done something, but we don't know exactly what they did. Here I'm talking about Mr. Rugare Gumbo, who was the spokesperson of the party, who has been suspended for 5 years. Then we have Mr. Jabulani Sibanda, who was the war veterans leader and was playing a certain role in ZANU-PF. He has been expelled from the party. And then we've got other provincial leaders who have been ousted or allegedly ousted by provincial executives. So at the end of the day, there is this kind of dynamics, political matrix, in fact, that is happening in ZANU-PF, in which we see a conflict between party members, most probably because of the coming elective Congress, or we don't know what is going on.
That's true.
Yes. So
I think I can start by going back to Mr. Joseph Chuma. Ndobvunza nemubvunzo weshona vachuma kuti vateereri vedu tivape mukana wekunge vachinzwisisa. Mataura nyaya yekuti vatungamiri vematunhu vanga vachibviswa pazvigaro zvanga zvichiitwa zvichiteedzwa mutemo nokuti vanga vachibviswa nenzvimbo dzavanga vachimirira. Tinoona kuti varugare gumbo vakapiwa vote of no confidence nechikwata chevakarwa hondo yerusununguko pamwe nedunhu reMatabeleland South, kana ndakanga ndisingakanganisi nedunhuwo reMidlands kwavanobva takazunzwa kuti rakavapawo vote of no confidence. Tingati mavote of no confidence matatu iwaya angaita here kuti mutauriri webato anga akamirira bato munyika yose anga achibva angobviswa?
Chekutanga ngati tikorede babo ngatinzwisise chinhu one, vagumbo havana kubviswa nevote of no confidence. Vagumbo vanzi vasuspendwa nePolitburo for 5 years. And that's two different things. Kubviswa nevote of no confidence haisi suspension, hazvina appeal zviya zviya, zvinhu zvaaitwa ne organ of a party. But kususpendwa kunogona kuita appeal actually. Handidika saka vagumbo havana kubviswa any province, vagara Politburo vakadeliberata kuti vataure chii mukati, kuti zvafamba sei. Inini nemi nevateereri hatizivi, zvatingagona kungoita chete kumirira kunzwa kuti aiwa vagumbo vasuspendera izvi neizvi. But kwari zvinezvi tichitaura kudai hapana munhu uri papapa anoziva except vanhu vanga varimo muPolitburo macho. Saka let's not say kuti vagumbo vaitiwa vote of no confidence is totally wrong. And kuti tigadzise chimwe chinhu, inini kana nditaura panapa handikutaurira party one, ndikutaura inini as an analyst who also analyzes events in my party. And I am telling you something, I am not celebrating anything here. Hapana chinhu chekucelebrata. Makomrades edu vese vavo taishanda navo and taifarirana futi spirit. But tiri kuti isusu munhu handisika, even Bible inotaura kuti munhu anonetsa, handisika munhu akanaka akafa. Munhu kana ari mupenyu times anogona kunetsa and anogona kupoya futi. Then ndakadai I can make mistakes, we are all prone to mistakes. Even Bible inotaura kuti be perfect, which means we are not perfect. Handisika tinogona kukanganisa. Takanganisa kudaro, it's up to certain procedures kuti zvinhu zvacho zvigadzirwewo futi zvigadzirisike. Handiti. But chinhu chikurusa chatinofanira kuziva kuti kutarisai kaini vanhu, ZANU-PF iyi yatikutaura nhasi takafavhaiva kawave kakaoma kanga kane foreign funding yakaoma, kawave kanonzi ke-NDC yake. That was a very serious challenge here. Izvi zviri kuitira izvi these are just simple superficial challenges zviri within our party, within our members. Hapana munhu adzingwa, hapana munhu adzienda kure except probably Jabulani Sibanda chete ndiye anze aexpel. Handidika. But what I'm simply saying is that ZANU-PF can then not suffer, or hatisa press panic buttons kuti by way zvatotoomera tatopera tatoita sei. No. Ndosaka kuchiri necongress iri kuuya mavhiki maviri ari kuteera, zvinhu zvichataura zvigadzirisa zvichinakirawo futi musangano. A time is good as musangano kuti timbodaro tichimbotarisa zvinhu tichimboita realistic checks. Handidika kuitira kuti tiite come out better and stronger, because a time tikangoramba tichingobvagadzana tichingonyeperana hapana chinhu chinofamba mupati. but chinoda chokwadi, but inoda kuti munhu amire pachokwadi, but inoda kuti usamire on the fence for whatever reason. Mirawo pachena, vazibudira pachena
driver wetractor kana kumira semusambangwena.
Exactly, and in those of our guys. So I don't think we should be blowing horns and going home about it and probably thinking would be that we are parallel or Rumen. Who knows, there's a light from 2002, when I turned around to Pinda. It was a very serious storm here, but it's a ridiculous. Those governors couldn't even hide.
Aiwa rambai muri parunare mukoma chumatimbo tora mumwe muteereri. Mukoma Moses tinourombo kuumisa ikwekanguwa muri parunare makadi. Mukoma Moses muchiripo parunare ere? Mukoma Moses ndinoimba nhare yavo iri kuti netsei regai tigovafonera zvakare. Asi before I give you back the mic, Gibbs, I just wanted to ask Mr. Mkandla, are you still on the line?
Correct.
Yes, Mr. Mkandla, we saw some elders within the War Veterans Association taking over the running of affairs in the association. What's your reaction to this development?
That is the worst barbaric development that has been taken by our by our friends. The only problem is that maybe it is because they came so where they were trained, where there is no discipline. We don't have the so-called elders in the military or in the War Veterans Association. This is just a surprising something that has been just put in place by somebody who just think that has got more power than anybody else who was trained in this country. This is what exactly a point which weakens the image of the so-called war veterans. There is nothing like that. They can go ahead with their Congress, and then I don't think a really trained personnel who is not semi-trained will attend that barbaric kind of a gathering. And then there is no way the organization, it will never be the same again, as long as it will be led by a Chinotimba, the commander-in-chief of the invasions. There is definitely a chaos ahead of us. We don't have the so-called elders. If you tell the other side, otherwise use the name or something like senior war veterans or commanders, it will be reasonable. Because we've got junior commanders, we've got senior commanders, who are to meet together and then face the challenges of the war veterans. So these so-called elders is just something like a dream. It's something which is not existing. It has got they don't have even a constitution. They are not representing anybody. But just because Jabulani did not attend the meetings of Mai Mugabe, then they've got to take over and try to put certain cases against Jabulani, which are actually null and void.
Thank you so much. Stay on the line, Gibson.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Mchuru appears to have a problem right now, Jonga Kandemiri. So, but we don't know whether she will have a chance to actually come back. I think we can pose that question to Mr. Nkomo. Mr. Nkomo, what could be your reaction to indications that maybe this is the end of Mrs. Mchuru? And the other issue is, what is the role of the president in all this? Mr. Nkomo?
I think definitely Joyce Mujuru has been targeted and her faction has been weakened for now anyway, because all the chairpersons come from her, most of the chairpersons come from her faction, spokesperson comes from her faction, and even the chairperson of the War Veterans Association, Mr. Spanda, came from her faction. So there's an attempt to isolate, to exclude, and to victimize anybody who is seen to be identified with her. So that might be a disadvantage to her. But I'm sure she'll come up with a counter strategy to that. The only disadvantage is that most people that want to align with her right now, they will be scared of being isolated and being targeted. But obviously, she's an experienced politician, and I'm sure she'll come up with a strategy. I think the only problem is that nobody knows what the strategy is at the moment, because they've not come out in the open to say what her strategy is. Well, as for the president, there are two things. Historically, Mugabe has always been known to strengthen the weak faction and to weaken the strong faction. Remember Dinyane, the Nanko faction was very, very strong. Mm-hmm. Then after that, it was weakened because it had become too strong. And right now, the Mjuru faction had become so strong, it controlled most of the provincial structures, most of the party structures. It had to be weakened. So I'm sure for now, we can't say for sure that he's totally siding with the Mnangagwa faction. He needs that faction in terms of his short-term political objectives, which is neutralizing Mjuru. But in the long term, if he does have a long term, it would be difficult to predict that he will stick with the Mnangagwa, because he's been known to strengthen the weak faction and to weaken the strong one. The biggest challenge at the moment is that of age, because he's no longer as young as he used to be. Hence the sense of agency about dealing decisively with Joyce Mujuru, who seemed to be positioning herself for the post-Mugabe era.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nkomo. And before maybe you go to Mr. Chuma, let's take a caller.
Yes, we have Mkoma Sekai Gombe in Zimbabwe. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on this panel.
Yeah, welcome. Your contributions, please.
Yes. First and foremost, I'd like to say what ZANU-PF is doing is actually destroying itself, its brand, because I don't see any apparent reason why they are suspending these leaders before having them putting them before a disciplinary committee. I think the reason why they are being suspended is because they didn't attend or the divisive rallies, provincial rallies that were being held by Amai Grace Mugabe. I don't see any reason why they are suspending them, especially Gare Gumbo. I don't see why he's being suspended, because he was actually speaking on behalf of the party. And I don't also see the reason why they suspended this Jabrani Spanda, because Jabrani Spanda actually stated that he could not attend the rallies which were divisive, because Amai Mugabe was always attacking Amai Mjuru, always, whenever he was holding those rallies countrywide. So I think what ZANU-PF is trying to do is trying to eliminate Amai Mjuru's faction and maybe putting first Mnangagwa's faction. What ZANU-PF is doing is actually destroying itself. I don't support ZANU-PF. I'm an MDC member. I think what they are doing is good for us.
But Mkoma Gombe, a friend of mine, once told me that back home in Zimbabwe, since I'm not there, but he said in Zimbabwe, these ZANU-PF factions are a creation of the media. There's nothing like that in the party. What do you say?
No, this is not a creation of the media. Actually, there are factions. There is the Mjuru faction, and there is also the Mnangagwa faction. If you are following the rallies that were being held by Amai Grace Mugabe, she was always attacking the Amai Mjuru faction, and she was talking rubbish about Amai Mjuru. She never attacked the Mnangagwa faction, meaning to say, in ZANU-PF factions really exist. It's not the creation of the media, electronic or print. Factions really exist in ZANU-PF, and that is a fact. Those who are saying it's the creation of the media, they are actually lying. Actually, factions here in ZANU-PF, here in Zimbabwe, they actually exist. And there are some other cases where these factions leaders from the two factions in Mnangagwa and Mjuru, they sometimes come out in the open, and some of the structures, like here in Yanganet, They sometimes come to us, members of the MDC, and tell us that, no, we want Maili to take over. And others, they will say, we want the Munangagwa faction to take over. So factions really exist in ZANU-PF. That is a fact.
Okay, thank you so much, Mukoma Sekai Gombe. Thank you so much for listening to Studio 7. Gibbs, I remember when we were...
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. I remember when we were growing up playing soccer. Some coaches, they could even suspend their best player before a crucial match.
Yes.
So we don't know whether ZANU-PF is doing this, following the soccer rules or something else. But, people cry that they've suspended Mr. Rugare Gumbo. They are going to suspend Sore. So they are, some of those are best players in ZANU-PF. But maybe the coaches had other plans.
That's it. Yeah. So do you still remember when we were growing up when we used to play this kind of, street soccer?
Yes.
Yes, Gwakweni.
Yes,
yeah. So what used to happen if you were the owner of the ball?
You take your ball.
If your team is beaten, you run away literally with the ball, right?
With the ball.
Yeah.
So
how many times did you do it?
In this case, yeah, we used to do it. But in this case, would you want to take the soccer ball?
Let's hear from Mr. Chuma.
Thank you.
Baba Chuma. Your first reaction to what Mr. Nkomo raised, and this caller is saying a lot of issues here. Can you just talk to them?
Right. Firstly, I want to probably be a bit controversial and say I don't want to talk about factions right now. The reason why I'm saying so, the people that you say are leading factions, they've all come out straight and saying, no, I don't have a faction, I don't lead any faction. I'm Jure said that he doesn't have a faction. And Comrade Nangago said he doesn't have a faction. So I don't know what factions we are talking about here. But what I probably think is that we are probably just having a differences within a family, which is quite normal, actually, I think, and which is also quite healthy as well, because that's how we become better. What I want to think, actually, is that our party, ZANU-PF, Revolutionary Party as it is actually having some stomach pain. And I'm sure we all know that when you have stomach pain, what happens? You start excreting all those things that upset your stomach, and you take them out. But then after taking them out, you actually come stronger after a stomach pain experience, right? You cleanse yourself and emerge over there stronger and more powerful and go on. Guys, this is a mere internal dispute which really must not be blown out of proportion and escalated to this level. I simply believe that factionalism is a device or tool designed by imperialists to simply carry out what we call divide and rule. They want to divide us and then probably later on rule us. They failed with the MDC train. Now maybe they're probably trying to do it within ourselves. But look, all these are minute things that we can get over. If we are true revolutionaries, if we are true ZANU-PF cadres, we are going to sit down. We are going to look at these things with open minds, without blinkers. We will think outside the box or even boxes and come up with a proper solution. Manjuru is our leader. We respect her very much. If she has got her own shortcomings, there are proper channels and there are proper stages and levels and forums to deal with that, not us. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We are dipping our fingers in our noses into things that we probably shouldn't be doing so. Let due processes and due processes of our party be carried out. We've got a constitution. We've got all things set to probably fix all these things. Like I said earlier on, we are not celebrating anybody's demise here. It will be very folly. We are comrades with these people, and we're still comrades with these people. They might have had their own shortcomings. It's normal, it's human. To err is very human. We are going to overcome that. We are going to come out stronger with these same comrades. They are not going to be thrown away to no. The processes are happening, and things are happening. And all these things, I believe, are going to happen for the better of the party. So let nobody be emotional about it. Don't speak out of anger. Don't be clouded by mysterious things that we can never explain. Let's all remain focused. Like I said, our Congress is coming. All due processes are going to be done. patience is needed. It's a virtue, and it's a proper virtue at this stage. If we are mature enough, we must know that these are simple shakings that should happen actually in a mass movement. Mass movement means that siyakhukhula yonke into. You've never seen a river flow. When it flows in and it's heavy, it takes everything on board. But finally, some of the chaff is going to be put in some bank somewhere, and the river continues with this clear water and goes. It's as simple as all that, and simply put, ladies and gentlemen, there is no need to press panic buttons here. We are going to emerge stronger out of this experience. It will cleanse us. It will better us, actually. Because if they are corrupt leaders, then surely they must be exposed, because they are costing us. I'm an ordinary Zimbabwean as well. I'm suffering from the corruption tendencies that are happening. So I'm very happy if they're coming out. If anybody, let there be no scapegoat here. If anybody has done wrong, they must definitely answer for their wrong. Because even the Bible says at the end of the day, izolo zakho zizakulandela zizabuya phambi kwakho zizwi zakho zisakuthekela zisawuyambela ipaka apho zomila ukuthi ba, like a video being played. So if anybody did anything wrong, I can tell you the day of reckoning is coming, and I think it's very healthy. It's going to actually set our pace to move forward so that we can achieve the new asset promises that we made before the elections of 2013. These promises are only going to be achieved if we're a corrupt-free nation, we're a corrupt-free government, and corrupt-free party. So let all these processes happen. They are correct, they are okay. We are not victimizing anybody, and we are not celebrating anybody's demise. We are all one, but what we are simply saying is that
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chuma, and stay on the line. I think I got a quotable quote from what you were saying. You know, quote, he said, the Revolutionary Party has stomach pains. That's quotable, right?
Yes.
Now, let's go to Mr. Mandla, who is in South Africa. Mr. Mandla, good evening and welcome to the program.
Fine, and you? How are you guys?
Very fine. How is South Africa?
No, it's quite okay.
Yeah, what is your take on what is happening, you know, in ZANU-PF?
You see, I'm just disappointed over what the gentleman has just said. This Mr. Chuma. You see, it's a pity that he thinks that there are people who believe in what he is saying. What he has to take into mind is that one day he is going to be a scapegoat. Like we used to hear Rugare Gumbo talking the way he is talking, but today he has been driven into the political wilderness. So he must make sure that the same slash that has been used to slash out Rugare Gumbo and Jabulani Swanda is the same fist again that will kick him out of the same call that he is saying other people must be driven out for no apparent reasons over something that they know that they are accusing Mrs. Mjuru for something that is not founded. The only issue that is here, Chuma and his guys that is supporting, they know very well that the next person to take over from the old man, from the Mugabe dynasty, is Mjuru. So the only way to avoid taking over that chair is by coming up with all these useless and silly allegations that they are leveling over it. If genuinely she did corruption, this old lady, there are courts of law, there are police in the country, there is an investigating department. Why is it that the issue of Mjuru's corruption is being handled by party members instead of being reported to the police, which are responsible for making sure that whoever is involved in corruption is arrested, dragged into the courts of law, given the chance to prove himself right or wrong, whether he's found guilty or not? Why are they dealing with the issue of corruption in the within the political spheres instead of giving the courts their platform to deal with those issues? That's the question that I want the gentleman to answer me.
I hope he's going to answer you.
The other thing, again, that I want him to answer, he is saying a lot of things will be ironed out during the Congress. Why is the party taking the decision to suspend the likes of Jabulani Swanda, the likes of Rugare Gumbo, and the other guys who have been victimized before the day of the Congress, like he is saying? So, in other words, he is contradicting the system that he is talking about, that the party exercises its democracy on its Congress. When we have seen them taking decisions, we have seen them already implementing some decisions over senior members of the party. Someone like Rugare Gumbo, someone like Jabulani Sibanda, who has been suspended before the sitting of the Congress, which he says is going to make a decision. How does he reconcile those two situations?
Thank you.
Those are the issues that I want this gentleman to attend to, and he must stop lying to the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe know exactly what is happening in the ZANU-PF.
Thank you so much. No, your phone is actually fizzling out. I don't know what's happening, but I think we got the point. Yeah, your phone was cutting off. Yes. So, but
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, can I just come in quickly?
Yeah, quickly. 1 minute. We'll give you 1 minute. Yes, go ahead.
What Mandla said, eh?
Yes, react to it. Yes.
I think Mandla got me wrong. One, I said I am not a spokesperson of ZANU-PF, and I'm not speaking in any capacity of ZANU-PF here. I'm speaking in my own capacity as a simple individual who analyzes things as they happen, right? And two, I don't know why Mandla is talking about Mine Juru being accused of anything, because I don't think you ever say that. We are not discussing that in this program. We're simply discussing the goings on of what happened. Mine Juru's name was never mentioned in the Politics Bureau by our national chairman who came out and spoke as the now acting a spokesperson of the party. He never mentioned Mine Juru. So I don't know why you are mentioning Mine Juru right now. Let's leave Mine Juru out of this thing and talk about what the national chairperson spoke about. He spoke about Rugare Gumbo, he spoke about the chairman. And if you heard him properly or if you read properly, it actually came out saying the Politburo upheld the no vote confidence stand on the chairman. It never said that the Politburo sat down, deliberated or probably condemned anybody. They simply upheld a decision that came from the right organs, which are the provincial coordinating or executive committees that sit in their respective provinces. They simply resolve that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chuma. So what we'll do is we'll just go straight to Mr. Nkomo. Mr. Nkomo, can you summarize? You've heard this gentleman saying a lot of issues. Your summary on what is going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, quite clearly, ZANU-PF is a party in crisis. Yeah. The First Lady admitted that there's fractionalism. She actually accused Kapondo of fractionalism. There's violence. People were beaten in Kwanda. People were beaten in Marondera. The party has suspended 6 of its own chairpersons. It suspended its own spokesperson. And its own vice president has been attacked in the media. Clearly, that shows it's a party in crisis.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mkandla, your last words?
Yeah, thank you very much on that one. I think the only way forward for ZANU-PF to regain their ground or the lost ground as it is right now, they've already lost, is to come together and try to respect each other and in the world. Those people in that party, they are relatives of some of the people. Some of them, we worked with them, and then we are moving very closely, very monitoring, total monitoring the day-to-day activities of ZANU-PF. We've got relatives, though. We know exactly what is happening. Therefore, we are actually saying no one should just be suspended without any case. The issue here is about the function. These people, Mr. Chuma is trying to hide behind his finger. All these people have been labeled as rebels because of they are actually closer to Maimujuru.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkandla. Time is gone, Mr. Mkandla. Thank you so much. Sorry, we're out of time and we have to leave it there. We thank our guests this evening, Mr. Joseph Chuma, who is a ZANU-PF provincial member, Mr. Tumisani Nkomo, a political analyst with Habakkuk Trust, and Mr. Max Mkandla, a war veteran. Wish to say thank you to our producers and engineers, our listeners and viewers. This is Gibbs Dube in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Jonga Kandemiri, hoping you'll stay well until we meet again on Studio 7 on Monday.